If RISC-V technology is to replace Windows and Linux-based systems, the following requirements need to be fulfilled. One, the ability to use both text and file-based installation, as in install things from a file instead of typing. 2. The ability to utilize both keyboard and controllers to interact with the browser. PS3, joypad, PS4, DualShock, PS5 controller, Xbox controller, a retro console controller, and Android apps or Linux on your phone app that interact with the system. So basically you can use your phone to scroll around on your system, so you wouldn't really need a keyboard or mouse. Three, a tool that lets you capture parts of the screen or the entire screen in an image file. Unlike Windows, this should not erase your copied text. This is an issue with the snippet tool. It's very annoying. I copy something, then I click snippet, then when I want to paste the title, I want to paste on the image. It's very annoying. 4. Every command option needs to be available and accessible via search bar. 4. Every command option needs to be available and accessible via search bar. 5. A main gallery of settings with categories and subcategories. So basically I want it to be a little bit more complex so I can fine-tune it without searching the entire system for the exact specific tiny thing that I want to do. An AI assistant option, obviously. Now, personally, I think that the AI assistant should have multiple different types of voices and have the ability to read in multiple languages, as well as there should be modes, like various limits to what it can do when you're activating it. A specialized set of settings for special display situations. So if I have my monitor vertically, I should have special controlling, special tools for that. If I want to use multiple displays and one of them is a touch screen, for example, I could click on an icon and that gives me a mouse mode, so I can scroll around on the other displays. That's something very, very useful in my opinion. Another thing would be people usually have older TVs, 15, 25 years old, and those TVs, I recently tried to use a DisplayPort to HDMI adapter on a friend's computer, and the cable was fine and the computer linked well. It's just there could be some sort of guide to a problem. It should be able to recognize a problem from what you're doing. So that's one of the things you should consider in terms of the specialized settings. Another thing would be if you're using a laptop, and every time I link a laptop or something like that to a TV, I have to readjust the screen, and it's kind of annoying. So account for a variety of different types of TVs. That's important in my opinion. Not just night mode and day mode as customization options, but also in between options, levels of gray, different color options, invisible color options in case someone wants to mark their system distinctly, onion options, how transparent windows can be, subsettings for the main taskbars customization, the ability to have distinct customization for different types of windows, settings and system software controls, games, folders, game type folders, internet browser, select distinct folder types. So as much customization as possible, but the one thing you should understand about the invisible color idea is basically if you just use an invisible color on something, a set of invisible colors, regardless of whether or not your display can project them, you can essentially have another program use that. So you can quickly mark which windows have this invisible color. Another thing would be like color frequency, like the frequency with which within the invisible color setting idea, like if I want to have a type of window be flickery, if I want to give it like a nightmare mid-2000s nonsense vibe, internet horror vibe nonsense thing. Like there was some sort of nonsense movie with Sophia Bush in the mid-2000s that I never did watch, but in terms of people who like creepypasta and whatever, I think that would be an important addition. The ability to customize the icon on a folder the same way you can on Windows. Well, yeah, obviously, like custom icons. 10. The ability to carefully control your system fan, RGB, etc. So you control about mechanical stuff. System settings, files that you can put in a select file, test, and then choose whether or not you want to use. This is in particular important in terms of optimal core selection, the path that information takes in your system. So so this is like a specific sort of test environment thing. Right now, we're expecting Alder Lake to come out. I don't know if you're watching this after Alder Lake came out, but the issue with something like Alder Lake is you're using smaller cores and one big core, so the way your system decides which core gets the stream of information is very important, because if the stream of information goes in the wrong core, you're gonna get an error. I don't know if the cores are designed to give you instead of an error message, give you like an uncompatible message, like shift to a smaller core. I think that's a possible solution we might be getting there, but especially when you're playing older games, you get compatibility issues. For example, I'm playing a remaster of a game about Destroy All Humans, and it seems to be locked on my 4K display. And while I find that nice, I tend to play games at 1080p. my CPU isn't really that up to par. So I also tried to play Spellforce, and Spellforce, the text was tiny as hell, and I tried to change the resolution, but it like turned to a black screen. Like it just broke, but it didn't break. It just sent. I think it sent a different type of signal to my monitor or something. It was very annoying. So the ability to test programs through your settings, I feel, is important. An exact list of system specifications available to you when you search for them. If I'm using CL15 RAM, I want to know if I'm using CL15 RAM. Like, I don't want to like mechanically look into what type of RAM I'm using. It's very annoying. So the more information people generally have, the easier it is for them to, for example, to sell their PC or whatever. Voice recognition software. Well, obviously, if you're gonna be using an AI assistant, but also multiple types of voice recognition software would be good, because different accents, different whatever, can affect the recognition of your voice. So that might be annoying. Text-to-speech software inside the system. Well, yeah, I want to have my AI assistant read stuff to me. Like, for real, like, text-to-speech on a system would be like a massive draw. A native set of free browsers. So the system itself is designed in mind for these free browsers. Now, one thing about them is I use Google Chrome, and I specifically use it because it lets me drag and drop stuff. That's the main purpose of Google Chrome for me. Dragging and dropping stuff, and even dragging and dropping stuff on the window. With Firefox, you need to drag the actual shortcut you've made to the actual, address bar. And it's so annoying. It's just beyond annoying as all hell. My brother uses it because it uses RAM and it's supposedly safer or something. I don't know. Like, I'm getting a terabyte SSD this week. I don't care about a few gigabytes of my memory. Why don't I just have it use... Oh, by the way, if it can use HDD, do whatever, that would be good, Selecting which hard drive or RAM you want it to be using to make adjustments to your links and whatever, that's important, but I feel like the most important thing is to drag and drop your files and to have the ability to play Netflix and other stuff, A Java patch would also be good, for online Java games, if you care about that. Now, this is number 16. The option of using up to 6 browsers and having the option to choose which browser you want when right-clicking on a shortcut file. Checklist the option in case you are using 6 browsers. Checklist the option in case you are using 6 browsers and don't want to clutter your options with more than 2 browsers. So I prefer the idea of Internet Explorer because in my mind it's simpler than Microsoft Edge. It's the same thing. I'm not gonna use it. Well, actually, right now I'm primarily using Chrome, but I used to use a second browser, and it used to be Edge. Another thing, like every time I update, I replace my security software, it like installs a safe browser, and it automatically defaults to that safe browser. So every time I have to go into my options and fix something. I'm also annoyed by Opera. I don't like Opera a lot. Like, I don't know what who made up that like icon, but it's a terrible icon. 17. System modes inside your browser, as well as the option of segmenting your system among several users. So basically, if and only if you want to, you can have the choice between different users when you're. So basically, if and only if you want to, you can have the choice between different users when you're booting your system. On top of that, if you want a game mode, a professional mode, an idle mode, quickly available to you by clicking the system logo when you decide what each mode is called, you can do that. So it's basically like selecting a user, but plus more specifics. Like I want to be quickly able to switch from power efficiency mode to gaming mode, like when your system sets itself to a specific task, like editing mode, animation mode, whatever. Like, and also my professional browser usage and my personal browser usage should be on different modes, A thing you might add is like possibly a second password or a quick passkey for, like when you want to quickly go to your personal stuff. Like, so I want to be able to log into an account at work, and I want to be able to quickly use that account to access my personal stuff. But then when I leave that personal stuff, it's back to being professional. And I don't want the system to conflate my professional use of YouTube with my personal use of YouTube. So no dancing schoolgirls when I'm at work. And my boss is a woman or something. Something like that. "18. A clock with exact GPS coordinates, synchronization, and custom alteration to that GPS sync, or just offline settings for the clock." So, well, this is obvious. You pick your time zone, but I want to be more specific because when I don't know my time zone and if I'm in the desert or whatever, I want to have more exact timing at times. Like if I'm calculating the path of a satellite or something, whatever, from my location, like, do I use the time zone? Or, like, I want to be able to tell what the actual geological, like, what the time should be based on my position and what the actual time zone time is. 19. audio control that can go as high as 400 steps. Firstly, because I want more fine-tuning of my sound. And secondly, because sometimes your phone doesn't give enough power to your headsets, so that's super annoying. And yeah, well, I want more fine-tuned control over my sound. 20. Icons gallery. Little arrow or pin to the taskbar. Yeah, basically like if you wanna have something like an Android style selection option of icons, I don't want to just pin the icons to the taskbar. I want to have them available in pockets. And I want to have the option to go little arrows, like in Windows when you go to this little arrow next to your volume, you get a few icons. And I know those are more specific, like when you're controlling your Bluetooth or whatever. But I like the idea of a specific sets of icons that I can use in a specific pocket, instead of just having all the icons clutter my taskbar all the time. So I want something that's available, and I want something that I can quickly click. So your taskbar is for quickly clicking stuff. Your little arrow is for hunting down whatever you want. Like, more fine-tuned stuff. More options are good. But not too cluttered. So, just the option of having a little arrow with a pocket of icons. 21. Games gallery. Little arrows or pin to the taskbar. Like I said in 20, but it's for games. The same thing. 22. Special software settings gallery. Little arrow or pin to the taskbar. Special software settings pockets, whatever. 23. Special hardware settings gallery. Little arrow or pin to the taskbar. Special hardware settings. 24. Special system analytics and OBS game capture gallery. Little arrow or pin to the taskbar. So I want both system analytics and whatever I record in game quickly accessible in the same place. I think a lot of bloggers, a lot of Twitch guys would love that. I doubt I'm wrong. It's a very good idea. Number 25. This is a big one. Instead of 3D objects, desktop, documents, downloads, music, pictures, video, the system is organized thusly. And here's the list. Hashtag insert what's needed. Then you have desktop, shortcuts, documents, systems mode settings, downloads, games, work, music, pictures, videos, other, trash, system analytics, safety, and hardware settings. So you want your work separate from your other stuff. You want to have the trash available, instead of having to constantly search for it on your desktop. For some reason, I cannot access the trash outside of the desktop, or at least I vividly remember not being able to find it when I was a kid. It was very annoying. So, system analytics and safety. System analytics and safety is something that more and more people should be focusing on, because you can fine-tune your system, you can analyze your system. It's very important. And if you're going to download something like an AI to run your fans, your system analytics and safety would be important for that. So more categories, but not too many. So we have, how many do we have? Desktop, shortcuts, documents, systems, mode settings. That's 4. Downloads is 5. Games is 6. Works 7. Music 8. Pictures 9. Video 10. Other 11. Trash 12. System analytics and safety 13. And hardware settings. If you need to add more, like an AI section, that's 15 options. That's not that many. Plus, you can have them hide in the top option. Insert what's needed. Like a hashtag option. Like, you can hide your main options, is what I'm saying. And you can highlight the options that you need. Or you can just create a new section for yourself and pick from the 15 that I'm suggesting. This would be a much, much better way to organize your workflow and your daily life. Just saying. Number 26. A domestic compression program that's open source, as well as an open source inscription program kept inside the System Analytics and Safety folder. Encryption program. So, the ability to custom compress your data and the ability to encrypt your data. One thing you might be noticing about downloading YouTube videos is that sometimes when you're downloading a simple file, sometimes the 240p option, the compression option, has a heavier file than the 480p. That's very weird. I don't know why that is. It's very weird. Number 27. Backwards compatibility with any type of network. So you can use Wi-Fi, you can use Bluetooth, you can use whatever you can. As much backwards compatibility as possible would be lovely. Number 28. Not only a quick access manager, but the option to choose between different quick access sets of options, exportable in a file that's kept in systems mode, so you can customize your quick access. Let me try that again. Number 28. Not only a quick access manager, but the option to choose between different quick access sets of options, exportable in a file that's kept in systems mode, so you can customize your quick access. if you want to quickly access stuff for work versus quickly accessing stuff for your wedding versus quickly accessing stuff for a gaming event versus quick accessing stuff for some other type of personal hobby work thing versus what your browsing habits are. So more modification, more option in terms of your quick access. There are various different things you might want to have access to at different times of the year. Like Christmas quick access, you might want quick access to websites that sell Christmas stuff. So where I would do something on Windows that would require me to set up a folder with a bunch of different folders for different types of times in the year, you would just have that as a variety of quick access menus. Think of it as the way on your phone you have multiple pages of links, but you can have multiple copies of the same thing that you're quickly accessing on all these pages, is what I'm saying. Number 29. When making a public folder, one should have the ability to log activity on that folder. Who is accessing the folder? Whatever. So, tracing who's accessing the folder would be very important for you. For example, if you're working in an office and someone's stealing data, browsing around, searching for stuff for no reason, you can find that information. Number 30. This is a big one. The ability to create two separate public folders, public 1 and public 2, for different people, as well as not only public 3 for the internet, but also the ability to hide the numbers of those folders if using a special password when entering your system. Yes, obviously you would need that. The ability to type in a second or third password that records your activity on your computer as you access it and hides the number of public folders or changes their names. The third, password giving you the option of activating a distress signal or message or email, as well as simple fake systems crash. So if you're working in a bank or someone is extorting you, that third one is very important. Number 31. An image search engine that lets you search your system for a specific image. Number 32. An in-folder search engine that keeps the address of the folder with the specific word or phrase intact. Windows's in-folder search option is very limited and annoying. Yeah, so every time I type something, it narrows down what's in front of me on the actual folder, and I have a folder with 4,000 folders, and I would like to be able to segment that search to text files, for example, or audio files, all kinds of different files. I want to have more specific control over that. Yeah. 33. So number 33 is a tag that separates files into subtypes as well as a common tag option. Or they're basically the same thing. So what I want to do here is basically, if I have the same type of file, but I want to tag one of those files for work or special, as well as, if I want to give tags to files that specifically relate to one project. So if I want to tag work to specific files, those specific files will be tagged work. So when I search for that specific subtype, I will get only those results. Whereas if I want to tag other files hobby, I get those specific results. So it's basically like tagging your YouTube video. Better search options. Number 34. Facial recognition software as well as an image recognition, voice recognition, fingerprint reading, eye scan, heat detection, QR, barcode, micro QR, sign language recognition, and hardware type recognition system. As in as many ways as possible for the system to tell where it is, who is using it, and what is happening. Maybe you want to have a chronological system. Maybe you want to have your system not just use facial recognition to find out who's in front of it, but inside the system figure out who you are, whatever. All visual and acoustic systems tested with a variety of cameras and microphones on a variety of different types of people with varieties of accents, varieties of tans, whatever. Like a really, really, really solid advanced recognition system. Let me just type this here. Advanced recognition system. Okay. Number 35. Some type of OpenOffice style document system that's compatible with Word, PowerPoint, and Excel sheets. As in, it does not move things around when it opens them. So you're gonna have Microsoft mode, you're gonna have OpenOffice mode, you're gonna have different modes of opening different files. And I think this is important because you should be able to customize this. Use a search bar to find specific things you want to do in this app. Also, the OpenOffice version of PowerPoint is annoying. Like, really annoying. I think it's very buggy. I haven't used it for like a year and a half, but I remember very bad things. Number 36. A domestic PDF, ebook, and comic book file manager. This is actually important for militaries. Like, if you want to look at terrorist comics, you might need this. I'm just saying, if anyone is going to create a RISC OS Substitute program, operating system, using RISC-V cores, they're gonna need a PDF thing, but they're also gonna need to read comics. People in the military probably read comics, So the reason why I'm calling it a PDF, ebook, and comic book file manager is so that you can create PDFs and do things like merge PDFs, whatever, domestically, and not rely on online resources for this. So as many functions as possible per app, running as smoothly as possible, obviously. Number 37, a domestic mind map software compatible with FreeMind. FreeMind is an open source, at least I think it's open source, it's a free program that lets you use notes to organize your thoughts. Like you type stuff in and you organize whatever. I think this is very important, not just focusing on linking the map to one single object, like 2 trees of branches, but also a variety of options. Like maybe you want to make a family tree, maybe you want to mind map like on an actual map. So it needs to give you a mapping tool. It needs to give you as much stuff as you need to organize your thoughts, your ideas, your whatever. Number 38, a domestic torrent manager, open source. Like uTorrent, but open source. Number 39, a domestic virtual box that you can activate and tune to simulate another type of monitor when running a specific game. This is meant to solve 4K display for a 720p game issue, on top of which the ability to limit the resources and speed of the virtual machine running in order to protect yourself against hacks or viruses. So this virtual box is basically not it's something you use to run Windows or Android or whatever on your PC. Like if you're running a Windows PC and you want to use Mac or you want to use Linux without installing it, you usually use this. But it needs to be fine-tunable so you can limit the amount of resources that you put into it. It's very self-explanatory given the text, but you really gotta think about how useful this sort of thing is. Number 40, a domestic antivirus program. Number 41, a domestic speech-to-text program that can take both audio as it is being spoken as well as audio files and movie or home video files and extrapolate text from that speech with limited Audacity-like functionality of volume, denoiser, and bass, etc. control. So basically the idea is merging a text to speech to text. Like it can tell what you're saying, but it's merged with the Audacity functionality so that you can adjust the audio that is being analyzed. So if you have a deaf friend and he needs to read stuff, you would use this program. If you're trying to figure out the script of a movie but you don't want to retype it yourself, this is what you would use. If you're trying to improve your own speech and your own speech recognition, you're gonna use this to give you a sense of where you need to go. that sort of thing. Number 42. A comprehensive list of words and phrases in multiple languages. You might not think this is very important, but it's so important. Like, word autocorrect can be super annoying a lot of the time. So the more phrases, the more specific the language available to the system is, the better. Number 43. Emoji and emoji recognition. I want to use emojis, and I want it to tell me how I can type emojis, and I want it to be able to search for specific emojis through my files when I'm looking for them. Number 44. The ability to play Java games. Number 45. A variety of optional at-installation educational games and glossaries of information, as well as a comprehensive set of outlines and full courses of every single available first world education systems. At least one educational game with an infocoin mechanic. So my infocoin mechanic, I'm going to explain a bit. The ability to gather coins with information in term that can be used to teach you basic bits of information. So if you're playing an open world game and you're into hunting down stuff, you can hunt down infocoins, and they're basically just text files presented in game. So it's like a reward with education thing. So you're mixing the gameplay aspect with an educational aspect. This should work both for smaller students and larger students and older people. It's just a neat thing I think should be in more games. Number 46. A vast glossary of links available to... Number 46. A vast glossary of links available at installation, allowing you to investigate a wide variety of topics. Yeah, so I have like this folder with 90,000 files regarding mythological, folkloric, some historical things, just a ton of stuff that you would use in world building. So imagine any topic, whatever you're thinking of, and imagine just having all the links to the various specific topics, small topics of discussion within a master folder of you can have like 8,000 links to World War II stuff, for example. Number 47. A search engine option that lets you find folders with a particular icon, like if you made the icon of a folder white or a clock. So this is basically the same thing as that tag thing I talked about earlier, but it's specifically for the icon because I like to change the icons on my folders. White icon for mildly special, magnifying glass, clock, whatever, tree, star. It's just something that is kind of separate from the tag, but it is something that I have used in Windows and should be useful in the system when people move from Windows to the RISC Substitute OS. Number 48. The ability to customize a particular folder to maintain icons from previous systems like Windows, the ability to auto-adjust each folder with a particular folder icon to a different icon or just selected folders. So if I have Windows files from one system and I have Linux files from another system, I want to be able to give them those specific icons, for example. And also, if you open up Windows files on Linux or Linux files on Windows, your icons aren't going to match all the time, so that's an annoying issue when you're trying to move from one system to another. Number 49. Text to folder app, allowing you to convert text titles into folders. It's very self-explanatory. You just type a bunch of titles and you have the system auto-generate them in folders. By typing them up, you have, you can use your word substitutes correction system. So if you're bad at spelling, this is going to help you with your folders. Number 50. RAM drive functionality and management in the operating system. A RAM drive is when you create a hard disk from your RAM. So if you have a system with 64 gigabytes of RAM and you're running it perpetually, 20 gigabytes of that RAM could be used for editing, for example. This should be useful in AI research or whatever. It's also a useful way to protect yourself when most of your data is encrypted and when you have it open and you're migrating files around from your darknet connection to this RAM drive. If you cut power to the RAM drive, all that data is lost. So you're gonna have scheduling, backups, all kinds of stuff. So this one is a big one. Number 51. An art program that lets you use both vectors, pixels, and basic photo editing tools, with a customizable user interface that lets you basically create paint, and a skin option that lets you create or share a file that designs your user interface for you. So before I go on, I'm basically saying that you can retool your user interface to mimic paint. Going on, the base model of this system being basically like paint but with a search engine on the top right, a gallery of tools and sets of tools, the ability to choose emojis, the ability to have a bar with sampled colors, the ability to utilize onion skins, the ability to hotkey either keyboard or controller buttons when you're using the app. In addition, the ability to choose what color you can select for a pointillizer tool, hyper pointillizer tool. That's when you use a pointillizer tool, you mega click something and you're moving your mouse and it gives you this sort of cloud effect, and it's very useful, but you you gotta click a lot, so that's annoying. So that's why I'm saying a hyper pointillizer tool. So back to the text, the ability to hotkey either keyboard or controller buttons when you're using the app. In addition, the ability to choose what colors you can select for pointillizer tool, hyper pointillizer tool, look up Photo Filter Studio, that pointillizer, but basically with the ability to simulate dozens of clicks as you drag it across the canvas, because it allows for a cloud effect. Yeah, I already explained that. So if you want to select a color and use this sort of tool to create like clouds of that color, that's useful if you want to merge it with the scene as you're pointillizing on the scene. Okay, next, a variety of tools that you can have in your options that are gradually improved versions of the tools available in Paint. So depending on different patches, you get more and more and more options in terms of your paint. You can have various presets for your colors and whatever. Next, the vector functionality is supposed to be like Inkscape, onion skinned over the base canvas, and then you can merge with either one of the other canvases or the base with different levels of opacity, gamma, saturation, whatever. Okay, so you basically start off with Paint, but with a search bar, and you can just add various layers to that basic canvas, and you can do more and more stuff, is what I'm saying. And number 51. Okay, so number 52. The ability to choose your browser's background image and correct for abnormalities in the outline of your windows. Basically, if you maximize a browser window and then minimize it, and it minimizes a few pixels away from the frame of the display, you could be able to fix that yourself. Yeah, so my browser does this. I'm using a 4K display. Like, there's like a few pixels away from the very bottom. It's very annoying. I want to be able to fix that, as well as the ability to crop and fold the selected image for your background as you are applying it. I'm personally very happy with this public domain Valkyrie image I got off Wikipedia. So I think I mixed up browser and desktop, but it's the same thing, the same functionality that I want to have on both. And basically I'm using a black and white background image from Wikipedia, and yeah, you can figure this out yourself. I don't need to explain this. This is a basic explanation. It's fine. Number 53. Automatic shutdown or snail mode under certain conditions if your power supply is experiencing problems. It could switch to being more energy efficient. Shutdown if it overheats. More frequent backups in the case of danger of power outages. Compatibility between these settings and mainstream apps in use on the operating system. The ability to schedule user-selected warnings or external system warnings. Basically, the ability to tell the computer when there might be a power outage so that it can adapt its backups and energy savings time if I want my machine to slow down in between the hours of 4 and 9 a.m. next Tuesday, I should be able to do that. So basically, I'm saying advanced system protections and advanced system energy savings things, on this number. Yeah, some sort of system that's more tuned to, say, a Tesla Powerwall or whatever. Number 54. The ability to back up all important systems settings, hardware, analytical, and software, and customization, including images selected on a file. Tailor that information, tuning a system for a friend, and then send that file to your friend, letting him or her customize their system by selecting that file and telling his system to activate it. Okay, so I have a friend. So more tech-savvy friends should be able to just send you a file to optimize your system for certain things, and you should be able to use that file to optimize your system. So a system optimization file, you send it to your friend, he tinkers around with it, he sends it to you. A slight addition to this would be the ability for your friend to interact with your computer using this file on his system, but I'm not sure about safety issues with that. Number 55, the ability to share. Okay, the ability to share processing resources between machines by selecting a machine and asking it to share some of its power, as well as the ability to pre-program a resource to such a request. Basically, if you're using your machine to help an online project like AI research or whatever, X amount of RAM space available to the neighbor, X amount of SSD space, X amount of CPU or GPU power. If your cousin's laptop wants power, give him X amount of power. If you want power for yourself, give yourself X amount of power. These options should be simple, clickable, and easy, as well as easy to manage from your phone, laptop, or other device, and the administrator or some title. Basically, if a girl gets mad at her boyfriend for cheating, she should automatically be able to change his access to all her devices. So girlfriend cheating, boyfriend, whatever. But also, if I'm playing a game on my PC and your phone is really slow and you want to use my PC to exist as a bot inside my game and browse around, access to that. But also, if you want my PC to boost your editing, for example, if I want my PC to boost the editing on my laptop, I can do that while I'm using my PC to browse YouTube. Some sort of system where that's more easy to use than just figuring out how to install Arch Linux or whatever. Number 56. Phone, watch, tablet, Chromebook alternatives, laptop, mini PC, console development, proper PC, server, remote PC, industry component, mini PC, built robotics like Raspberry Pi, retro console or a drone or a DIY camera, as well as voice controller, Google Dot Substitute, networked as in supercomputer, TV, speaker/radio, and car PC network compatibility, and variety of systems available. Basically, make sure the RISC OS Substitute is on everything. You want your phone to have it, you can have it. You want your PC to have it, you can have it. You want your car to have it, you can have it. You want your camera to have it, you can have it. You want your future sci-fi Game of Thrones cup to have it, and have it monitor the temperature of liquids or whatever, you can have it. You want the thing built to manage your drug intake if you're sick to have it, you can have it. Everything. It needs to be on everything. Number 57. Open source video editing. Yeah. I use Shotcut, and while I like Shotcut, it does do this weird thing where I need to create a completely new file and select the folder where whatever. Yeah, so I want to be able to designate a folder for any reverse. When I'm reversing a portion of the video, it re-encodes it backwards in a place, so I want to select folder for that automatically with installation. I want all kinds of tricks, all kinds of stuff. I want to have the photo film strip ability to zoom in and out of an image. I want to be able to crop a selected area on the video and have it do that. I want to do all kinds of stuff, but basically the absolute basics of this is some type of open source video editing software. Number 58. Customizable automatic camera tuning when using OBS or an online video call program. So this automatic camera tuning when using OBS or an online video call program. Yeah, so I want my system to automatically tune my cameras, or give me the option to preset how I want my cameras to be auto-tuned for specific programs or whatever. Oh, sorry, I forgot about number 58. As well as allow me, give me like video code programs and OBS, obviously. Number 59, an in-browser translation program. Self-explanatory. Number 60, the ability to choose to transfer files with original dates intact when migrating information between drives. So if I move files from one place to another, I don't want the date to just hop from 2009 to 2021. Number 61. A recycling bin that can offer stronger forms of erasing for select files or be tuned to do so quickly with a click. Yeah, basically that. One addition could be to rank different types of installations. So if I want to install general files, I could maybe want them to be uninstalled completely. If I want to erase certain video files, and those video files are things that I sometimes erase by accident, and I don't want them to be, mega erased, so I can return them, I'll be fine with that. So the strong erasing ability might also mess up my memory resources if I use it a lot for sensitive data, sensitive corporate data. So basically, you know, more fine-tuning there would be nice if you do that. Nebulous Programmer Online. Number 62. Windows will have the following options on the top right corner: an X to close, an enlarge or shrink option, a minimize option, and a hotkey option. The hotkey button will be customizable. Either you click it and it duplicates your window, some other function selected like mapping it in a quick access file, or a set of options available. The hotkey option will be available for the entire system, or select types of windows with select hotkey search. So this hotkey button idea, you can keep it a little bit separate from the main tree, the minimize, enlarge, enlarge, shrink, and close. And it's important because of the extreme functionality that such a tool gives you. Yeah. So if you want to specifically tag a folder that you're examining, you can have that in this hotkey option or whatever. If you want to specifically save a specific folder, hotkey, click saved, whatever. Tag file, save file, etc. Now, a thing about this is if you're using two keyboards, you could just hotkey on one keyboard and use that hotkey on that one keyboard on this thing. Is very important, in my opinion. Specifically if you're a professional who's also a gamer. Number 63. Window lining, window transparency, window color, and the size of the top bar of windows should all be customizable. If I'm using a controller, I should be able to switch Windows visuals to controller mode and switch back without losing settings. Yeah. Basically, if I'm using a controller, I want to switch to controller modes. It's very simple. Number 64. Automatically switch to a certain mode when a program is using up system resources option. Yeah, if a program is running too hot, the system should be capable of switching its mode. Also, you could give an optional color indicator about this. Switching the taskbar to a different color would be interesting. Adding a flag to the taskbar, reminding you what type of mode you're using. A flag icon could be very useful. Yeah. Number 65. We're at 65 now. Another 160 to go. I wish I was kidding, but I decided to make this video and I'm going on with it. Number 65. The ability to encrypt an external hard drive. Yep. Number 66. The ability to regulate your file transfer between two different hard drives. SSD to HDD, RAM-less SSD to SSD regular. Have the system take into account the type of SSD or storage device it's dealing with and avoid crashing by transferring only parts of the information at a time. So when you're moving files from one place to another, you get boosts to that transfer. And after the device crashes, it just migrates information a lot slower. But if you have a more intelligent system, a more intelligent file transfer system, you could have it have something selected, and it can migrate things at bursts. If you want that option, you should be given that option. And it should be simple. Number 67, a reminder app that lets you set up both alarms and messages for yourself, either as red dots on your clock or as messages with your alarm. Wake up your brother at 9:40 a.m. tomorrow morning, for example. Or you have a date next Tuesday. Don't forget, idiot. Number 68. The ability to tell your phone to call someone at a specific date and time, as well as pre-recorded messages. Pre-recorded message, a recording function. The ability to tell your phone to call someone at a specific date and time, as well as pre-recorded message and recording functions. So, what do I mean by that? So, you could set your phone to use both a call function or something like a Viber option, a Skype option, to specifically remind someone like your grandpa that he needs to remember to do X, Y, and Z. You could also use this to remind your girlfriend or whatever. And yeah, if you're more tech savvy and your relatives don't know how to use technology, this could be very useful for you. This could be very useful for work and etc. Same thing for your PC. Number 69. The most important part, the ability to select an address from your browser. Drag and drop it as a shortcut. Deactivate the function where it adds a number to your YouTube if you have a certain number of messages. Then drag and drop the file not on the search bar but the body of the browser window. Firefox is annoying. Chrome is not, specifically because of this function. So basically, I wrote down why I use Chrome. Basically. And I'm annoyed by the YouTube thing where it numbers your links. It's very hard to organize your links if you add stupid numbers there. It's annoying. It's annoying for me. At the very least, YouTube, what you could do is move the number to the end of the thing. Or give me the option to not do the thing. I'm so annoyed by this. Well, I'm not really that annoyed. I'm mildly upset. But, it was very confusing when this first became a thing. It was very confusing. I have no idea how many words of the 9,245 words of this Word document I have left. But, going on. Number 70. The ability to customize the icons per app. The ability to customize the icons per app from your software settings. So if I want a retro icon to a browser, I can just download an image and apply it. Yep, customizable icons. Number 71, the same, about number 70, the customizable icons bit should be able to work with the search thing, the search functions. At the very least, the image search should be able to find that custom icon for you. Or you can just get a specific tag added to your file. I'm just saying. Number 71, mortals, the same level of control over in folder organization as in Windows plus Extra. Folders with specific icons come first or last. Folders from a certain type or time of day rather than date than time. Dual decimal system for folders with separate words in the timeline, in the title. Folders with a specific phrase in the title as priority, so they can be first or last. So basically, I want the minimal level of file organization as Windows plus Extra. So I can prioritize whatever I want, so I can organize however I want things to be organized, etc. Number 72, the ability to create a text file. Yeah! Number 73, the ability to apply and deactivate autocorrect in a text file or app the system is on a phone. If the system is on a phone or anything else, if the system is on a phone, autocorrecting is extremely annoying. Extremely annoying. When I'm trying to use TikTok and it autocorrects everything, how do you deactivate that thing? It's so annoying. It's so annoying, and I can never figure out how to deactivate that stupid autocorrect function. It's very annoying. Number 74, the ability to schedule when a background image is to be selected for the browser, as well as taking into account special dates like St. Patrick's Day or Christmas. So if it's the holidays, you get holiday themes or whatever. If it's Valentine's Day. If an important election is coming up, important election nonsense. Number 75, the ability to remember birthdays and anniversaries via the Reminder open source app linked to your calendar. So, Reminder interacting with your information that you've put in. I actually put in a data pocket idea at the very end of this list, and I forgot. I was gonna put it earlier, but I forgot to renumber. Whatever. So basically, if your mom has a birthday, it reminds you. If your wife has a birthday, it reminds you. It needs to auto-detect these things, you know. If you want them to. If you want it to. Number 76, the ability to schedule RGB. About number 75, some of your relatives might be dead, so you should be able to customize what it should be tracking. I'm just saying, customize that. Number 76, the ability to schedule RGB effect given situations or date and time. So, if it's your birthday and you usually have your RGBs off, you can turn them on. If you want them on during 4 p.m., you want them on. Something that can work with your reminder app, and it can give you more functionality, more customization. You might want it to remind you of a big game release, that sort of thing. Number 77, a very, very fat chunk of text. Okay. A system analytics tool that's like MSI Afterburner, but can deliver reports based on 1%, 0.1% lows, performance smoothness, single core performance, temp, and other things without the need of OBS and the ability to automatically record such data every time you use an app or program or specific set of programs. Note to everyone, this thing, because it would record stuff, would give you the ability to record stuff, record gameplay, and then add it in the specifics after the fact. So you customize certain names of certain specifics, like 1% low, and you don't want that much text on it, for example. Browser stability, that kind of thing, and the ability to share a file that auto-tunes your analytical tool to a set of specifications so as to get the same report on multiple devices faster, saving valuable work time. So Gamers Nexus, for example, would be getting up-to-date scheduling or whatever. On top of this, a UI that lets you take those reports from both your system and others and compare them, as well as aggregate large numbers of them to simple charts. This is not only useful for a consumer, but also someone managing a supercomputer or someone managing a large building, systems, etc. On top of which, the ability to input the cost of electricity and climate and other tags like that basically gives you a benchmarking analysis tool at home that you can then generate a video from. Note that details like RAM frequency, RAM speed, motherboard type, and cooling methods are important in detailed systems analysis. So if you're recording your system and you don't want to bother with these specifics before you're recording your data, reports and stuff, you can also, if your county or state or city has issues with power supply, focus on the exact timing. So if you're playing between 4 and 6 p.m., between 10 and 12 p.m., you can focus on the specific price of electricity then, etc., so on and so forth. You can look into a variety of metrics yourself. One thing that really annoys me about game testing about hardware testing is you almost never see charts where the CPU is tested with various different types of RAM, and you never see a price comparison between, say, an 8700K with 3200 megahertz versus a 8700K with 2400 megahertz versus a 9400F with 3000 megahertz RAM. It's your RAM and your CPU that gives you the performance. It's not just the CPU, and you have to look at the RAM speed, the RAM speed to chip comparisons on a different tablet than the chips themselves. So there are various price ranges, and your chip is always going to be linked to certain types of RAM, certain frequencies of RAM. There should be more data available, is what I'm saying. And this app should allow users to mass compile data
in order to get a better data set. They should also be able to add in temperature in their environment and their specific city of residence. That's important. Number 78, an easy search tool and the ability to update or choose a custom language file or custom font for your word substitute. Number 79, the ability to split your files in half or split them by a factor of 4 and store them in separate drives like torrent caches. The ability to do this with encrypted files and apply principles of data longevity, as in keeping multiple versions of the same file. Yeah, so that basically. Number 80, an outline of this exact list of requirements with GIF files attached showing that they do and showing what they do and linking the appropriate apps or places or of settings as shortcuts available in your system. Logo start menu. So GIF files basically. Number 81, an obvious move your bar around your browser option. Pin, unpin, and organize the taskbar as you want. Number 82, a text file with an outline of commands and what they do with GIF files attached. Basically this entire list, basically. Number 83, a visual hardware map. A visual hardware map with the explanations as an option on the side, showing your entire system. So if you have X type of motherboard and you want to look at it, go get the X type of motherboard, or just have your system automatically pull in the vector file about that motherboard and browse what's happening. Where are the sensors? What am I doing exactly? Number 84. Notorious bug alert and notorious risk alert function that tells you when some of your files have a bad reputation. Yeah, that is a very good idea. Thank me from the past. Clap, clap, clap. Number 85, file quarantine. Number 86, virtual box quarantine examination. Number 87, multiple app stores available for quick download with a recommendation that PC apps include icons showing whether or not a game or program is compatible with a controller. I'm so annoyed by games that have controller support not having the same exact controller support that I have. Like, why does Dragon Ball think why is Dragon Ball tuned to a goddamn Xbox controller? Who uses Xbox? It's the stupidest thing ever. Number 88, black and white mode. Plus extra. So, Number 89. Camera screen or camera lamp light communication, as well as QR code clip communication between devices. This is because of data security, and basically you might want to use a LiDAR option for your communications, but also you could... I had this idea a while back of using QR code clips, where you have QR codes in clip format with the available data, and when you're going to a mall, you have a clip of various QR codes to give you some links. This is something that should be a thing massively in terms of how you manage the tourism industry, for example. This is important. Okay. Number 90, the ability to take a badly managed Word or OpenOffice file, map it, and then produce a Word OpenOffice Substitute file and a PDF file with the exact same positioning of images and text, but the text doesn't disappear when you correct it or replace it with a longer text, as well as the ability to auto-translate and generate PDF files and then edit them either after the fact or before the fact, comparing the two texts side by side. So basically a more usable, more advanced version of a file management, a file-to-file re-encoding system or whatever. Yeah, I really want this for work. If you don't know what I'm talking about, never mind. But if you do know what I'm talking about, the ability to map files and produce and edit and effectively edit files the way you want them to be edited could be big. Number 91. Compare two text apps. Compare two texts. I'm just gonna edit this in the text. Compare two texts app. Or multiple texts. So I want to know the difference between two texts. I go online. I want to know the difference between two texts. Without internet, I don't know how to do that. I don't know if I have that app, if that app is available. But it would be useful to have this app. It would be very useful. Number 92, the ability to visualize reminder options with countdowns, as well as create countdowns to specific events. So if I'm expecting a movie or like a birthday, countdown, do that, whatever, with my reminder app. Number 93, an open source AI trainer app that lets you train AI and share that AI with other people, torrent style. Yeah, so if I want to train an AI, for example, for a program that AI upscales something, or if I want to train an AI for a game, I want a standardized format that does not present a risk for my system, that is hard to hack, etc. So that if I'm not very good at programming games, but my friend has a game and I want to share my system resources with that fan game or that mod or whatever, and I can help him develop a better AI for his game. This sort of a system could be very useful if you use it on a Cerberus type computer with 400, 800,000, cores. That would be awesome. Number 94, an open source game engine available with the operating system at and after installation, as well as both DualShock controller and keyboard compatibility with the UI, so Godot meets dreams. Yeah, Godot meets dreams. If you don't know what either of those things are, look them up. They're great. Or just look up the Avatar fan game. Number 95, and I'm gonna call it quits for today after this. A guide to open source content, open source books, open source everything included. Number 96, and a blind man UI. Number 97, the option to have the option of taking a selected text and creating a text file in a selected folder. A crashing option, select right-click cache. A caching option, select right-click cache. So this is kind of more advanced, a more advanced version of copy-paste. But if I want to select a certain set of text and I want to keep it somewhere without browsing to my computer, I should have that option using this caching option. Number 98, a mind map mode, giving you a node tree with options to let you organize your content as well as windows to drag around and place wherever you want, with the option of creating highways, as in lines between the node tree and the windows, letting you design your own system, allowing you to better organize and quickly switch between work and your family content by simply hiding one set of nodes and opening another. If you are an FPS player or an RTS player, this feature should help you immediately. So FPS as in first person shooter, I should clarify here. Basically, if you're used to hotkeying your resources, for example, this would be very efficient for you. Real-time strategy. Number 99. When utilizing an external SSD or USB boot stick or even an HDD, make it so that the system can install itself on your computer easily. Yep. So updates, whatever. Also, in terms of programming an external hard drive, it should be as well as giving you the ability to program external hard drives automatically, instantly, and migrate from and to different hard drives. So if I want to copy my entire system on a hard drive and I want to update my spare PC to use the exact same system I'm using on my regular PC while my regular PC is in the shop, and I want to then update the external hard drive with that spare PC information, and I want to go to my PC after it's been taken from the shop and update that to have everything I've been doing. That after the 200s mark, I have a data pocket thing. This is important for that. Number 100, a terms gallery. Multiple terms galleries giving you explanations about what terms mean depending on your country of origin or field of study, or if you're studying your system. Yep, this could be very useful. Number 101, still going. Optional notifications about driver update availability. Number 102, optional updates from a checklist of sources about new systems, risks, and exploits, as well as fixes to issues. So, you want stuff that's recognized to be actually for your system, for your computer, not unknown stuff. And this would be giving you a list of places to search for more information. Number 103, the Internet of Things compatibility and home appliance management. You control your smartphone, your smart home. Number 104, Bluetooth with organizations in handling different generations of tech. Bluetooth with organizations in handling different generations of tech. I'm calling it a day, finally. Number 104, Bluetooth. Good day.